If your team got guaranteed money, tell them call me.
Whoop. Make me say, my. I done been around the world.
Yeah, I was made for this.
Player Performance with J.A. Cavalier.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to MLB Player Performance, the morning show, Wednesday morning, July the 30th, 2025. It is the Shark and the Gun. We missed you guys on Sunday. We had some technical difficulties. The Gun and I were ready to fire. We're ready to fire now. Gun, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, absolutely frustrating hour as we're just in the chat trying to tell you guys. I'm like, sorry, we can't get StreamYard working, but I think the kinks have been fixed. We got a big card for you on the matinee slate, and we can't wait to get into it. It feels like it's been forever, but it hasn't been that long. Shark, let's get into the slate.
Absolutely. We're covering the matinee games, 8 to be exact. The morning show, MLB Player Performance on a Wednesday, starts now.
I live the bright lights, the type, the crowd lights. Where you at, ballers? Ladies love me and men, they want a penny, they pay to come see me. Where you at, ballers?
Wednesdays are for winning. First game on the card, early game, 12:35 in Baltimore. Divisional baseball, Blue Jays, Orioles, Jose Barrios at Dean Kramer. We oftentimes say, we open these shows saying we hate the first game. Quite the opposite today. I think this is a great game to handicap. It's a divisional game. We got tons of data. Barrios' second consecutive road start. Probably going to perform poorly. And Kramer, laborious oftentimes this season. Gunz, any thoughts?
Using big words on the first play, laborious. Go get your dictionary, folks, if you don't know what that is. Shark is just too smart for the building. However, we're talking about Toronto and Baltimore. We have an AL East matchup here. You have two pitchers, especially with Barrios. High barrel rate, high expected ERA. He's expected to regress, even though Toronto is 9-2 straight up and 8-3 to the over in his last 11 starts. Toronto is also 6-3 in Barrios starts versus AL East teams and 4-1 on the road. But this is the highest total that we have seen in all of Barrios' road starts this year. While Dean Kramer has been kind of an under pitcher, he's 5-3 straight up and 5-3 to the under in his home starts. He's 4-1 in Kramer. Baltimore is 4-1 in Kramer starts as a home favorite of -150 or less. So from a side perspective, yes, I think this is leaning more towards the Kramer side than it is the Barrios side. A lot of under trends on this one, but if you look at the Baltimore and Toronto matchup on this one, and Shark will get into this a little bit more in a second, I think it's very important to know that Baltimore and Toronto, 10 matchups, 8-2 to the over in those situations, and the totals have been between 9 and 10 in most of those spots. So even though Kramer's been more of an under pitcher, I'm not going to talk the total on this one. I'm leaning a little bit more towards the Kramer side because Kramer is 6-0 in first fives versus AL East teams this year, and I think it's going to be 7-0 in this one. So if I have a lean on this one, I'm going to be taking Baltimore money line first five just as a lean.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. And obviously, Baltimore is a bye team at this point. We talked about this for months now. This team's a two-time playoff team the last 2 years, still sitting here 8 games under 500. Key point, though, on a 5-game winning streak, did sweep the doubleheader yesterday. This team is going to continue upward momentum. And as I was mentioning when I opened the game, this is where you want to fade Barrios. Barrios is in a very unique calendar spot, second consecutive road game. This is the 4th time this year he's pitching on the road in 2 consecutive games. And we're noticing extreme polarization, start 1 versus start 2. In this particular cluster of games, road start 1, 25 2/3 innings pitched, only 4 earned runs. So very good going on the road, staying on the road, 3 starts. Only 12 2/3 innings pitched, 14 earned runs, and 5 home runs against. And as we said, not all these games are data abundant. This one is. Kramer's faced Toronto twice in the last 2 years, 7-6 over, 9-5 over. And Barrios has already faced the Orioles twice this year, 12-2 over, in a game in Baltimore on Sunday, April 13th, 7-6. This line is scaling up. It's the highest total we've seen in a long time. This is going to go against our narrative of getaway games in the afternoon being pitchers' duels. Expect runs early and often. Top play in this game. Take the over and let's cash. Keeping it moving. Next game on the card, Detroit, Michigan. Diamondbacks on the road. National game here. Ryan Nelson at Chris Paddock. when I was handicapping this game, I said, wait, Paddock Tigers switching teams in the division. I think it happened at 3 a.m. a couple nights ago. I certainly didn't see it. A lot of moving parts. Obviously, this is a unique conversation right around the trade deadline. We talk about this all the time. Guys making their first career start coming out of the minors, very hard to predict guys getting traded, new team first start in this stadium coming out of the home clubhouse. I want nothing to do with the Diamondbacks at this point in the season. I really don't like buying Paddock here either. Gunz, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think you're looking at two teams that are really struggling, absolutely cold. Arizona's just trying to sell off the parts and pieces for scraps at this point. You hear about their two main pitchers, Merle Kelly, Zach Gallen on the chopping block. Their third baseman is probably going next, their superstar. You look at Ryan Nelson on the road. He's a road dog in this situation. And if you've seen his performances as a road dog this year, he's 0-4 straight up in those situations. However, Chris Paddock, let's talk about his stats when he was with Minnesota. He goes over to division rival here in Detroit. He has a low K rate. And you look at how Minnesota performed when he was on the bump, 2-10 straight up in his 12 starts. And it wasn't the Minnesota bats' fault. We could really blame them because Minnesota has struggled offensively in a lot of cases. This is a Paddock situation because he gives up 3.9 runs per 5 innings in his last 9 starts. Absolutely struggled. And he's also 2-4 straight up versus the National League, and that was with Minnesota. Now, different team, different situation, different atmosphere could change this guy around. However, I'm not going to do it on his first start with a new team. Chris Paddock, enjoy yourself in Detroit, but I'm not going to be back in any one of these two sides. I'm just going to pass on this game.
Yeah, tough game. Obviously, interleague game here. Not exactly a rivalry matchup, but I do think the over is probably the best look. As we said, the Diamondbacks really are just a team that is being gutted just point A through point Z. Everything is moving around in this clubhouse, and it's got to be some weird vibes going on in the clubhouse. We faded them correctly twice over the weekend at Pittsburgh. They have been absolutely terrible trying to get runs across the plate in the last week. I could only look towards Detroit. As much as I don't like buying Paddock in a first start with the Tigers or in a matinee where he's been actually very inconsistent in his career, I think the over is probably the spot. I think Detroit figures out a way to get there. Don't love the game. I'm wearing the hat just because I think it's a cool print. Don't read into it too much, people. Take the over as probably the best look in this game, and we will keep it moving. Next game, 110 in Minnesota. We're talking about Minnesota moving on from Paddock. Bailey Ober on the hill against Brian Bayo. A lot of moving parts in this game. Ober has not looked good in matinees at Target Field in the last 2 seasons. Bayo also very unpredictable in this spot. Truthfully, I couldn't get anywhere with this game. Gunz, you got the hat on for the 1,000th straight show. Does it mean anything this afternoon?
The lean hat is engaged, I should say. I don't know if I'm going to make this an official play, but I think there's some validity in taking Brian Bayo in this situation. Now, statistically, he has a low K rate. He has a high expected ERA from his current. That's kind of where he's been all season long, so I can throw that stat out the window. He's 2-1 straight up versus AL teams. He faced Minnesota back on May 2nd. Won that game as a -115 home favorite. Didn't look at the line before the game because it didn't come out, but I was just looking at the statistics of it. But you got to look at Bayo. He's 4-2 straight up in his starts versus AL teams outside the division. So inside the division, he has his struggles here and there, but he has done very well versus AL teams outside the division. Now you got to look at Bailey Ober on the other side. High barrel rate, low K rate. So his statistics are a little bit worse than Bayo. Then Minnesota just underperformed when he's been the pitcher. 7 straight losses when Ober has been on the bump. They're 5-2 to the over in those situations. And Ober did beat Boston as a road dog, plus 107 dog for that matter. So maybe there's a little bit of a revenge angle here for the Red Sox, if there is one in baseball, who knows? But he's done very poorly outside the division, especially in his last 4 starts, 0-4 straight up in those situations. So I think I'm going to trust Bayo, knowing how he's done outside the division, and Ober, at least in recent history, has done very poorly against AL teams outside the division. So I'm going to be taking a lean here with Boston money line as the play.
Yeah, really just a tough game. As we said, Ober has underperformed in matinees, very specifically for the better portion of his entire career. I remember going back a few years fading this guy when there's early starts. I couldn't get anywhere in this game, however. I think it's a really tough game. So bunch of angles from the gun, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, Interleague Baseball in Kansas City, Kauffman Stadium, 2:10 p.m. Eastern, 1:10 local time. Braves traveling to the Royals. This is a very interesting pitching matchup. One from about a decade ago, I would venture to say. Joey Wentz has bounced around the league considerably, already his third team of the year. And all of a sudden, Kansas City has Dallas Keuchel on the mound. I was talking to Gunz before the show. I said, wow, talk about a blast from the past. I don't expect much from Keuchel. Obviously, he's been out of the league for a little while. This is a really tough game. We give you guys angles on every game. I really don't like this game. Gunz, anything in this one?
I don't think the teams that are playing each other even like this game so much. They're not even willing to waste a starter. I mean, Dallas Keuchel, if you know anything about him, if you've been betting baseball for a while, he was the best fade pitcher on the planet. He played for the Chicago White Sox. He was an absolute gas can. He would give up 7 or 8 runs. You could take the first 5 over, and you could take whoever pitcher he went against. Didn't matter who, and didn't matter what the line was. He would absolutely fail miserably in every situation. And now he's been resurrected from the ashes, and now he is pitching here in the major leagues once again. But he's going against Joey Wentz, a high bail rate, high walk rate, low expected ERA. I'm not going to play this game at all. I'm not going to play the side. If I had to lean one way or the other, I think we look through the total, knowing that Dallas Keuchel historically has given up runs, and Joey Wentz has just got a high barrel rate, and Kansas City will be able to hit the ball hard on this guy. So if I have a lean, it's probably going to be towards the over, but I am definitely not going to be putting this game on my card.
Yeah, as we said, this is a really tough game. If I had to lean one direction, I would actually lean towards Atlanta. Obviously, Atlanta taking a couple losses to open the series. I think it's hard to sweep a team, particularly when you have a guy who hasn't pitched in the majors in at least, I think it's been like a year or two at least. And clearly the reason why he was not on a roster is because he's not of that quality. Joey Wentz, as I mentioned, started the year with Pittsburgh, had a nice little pit stop in Minnesota. Now he's with Atlanta, third team. He's actually pitched reasonably well in a limited sample with the Braves. He is 1-2 straight up, 11 1/3 innings pitched, only 6 hits, 3 walks, 3 earned runs. This guy's been serviceable throughout his career, and I just think Keuchel is a fade in this spot. So I think if you guys want to bet this game, obviously much better opportunities later in the card, but I would probably lean towards Atlanta to avoid the sweep here this afternoon in Kansas City. Take Atlanta if you guys want to mess with this game, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, divisional baseball in Milwaukee, 2:10. Brewers-Cubs, Game 3. Really elite pitching matchup here. Freddie Peralta hosting Shota Imanaga. Imanaga coming off of an abysmal home start against the White Sox over the weekend. One thing about Imanaga, more than a lot of other pitchers, he is a bounce-back pitcher. When he pitches poorly, he comes back focused and much cleaner. And I think that leads us to our best look in the game. Gunz, looking at the first 5 under.
Yeah, I think this is a good spot, and you have the history because these two pitchers have gone against each other, and and I'll get to that in a second. But Chicago Cubs have really performed well when he's been on the bump, 9-4 straight up, even though he's had a few bad starts along the way. 2-3 straight up when the total is 8 or less, though. But all those were as a favorite, kind of a small favorite if I was looking at it correctly. I don't know if it's going to be a dog by the time this game gets to first pitch. But Imanaga, like I said, faced Peralta, -115 road favorite, lost on a similar total. But if you look at the first 5 in that game, not one pitcher gave up a single run. It was 0-0 after 5. So it actually went to the bullpens after that, and that kind of was the deciding factor with Milwaukee prevailing. Then you got to look at Freddie Peralta. Freddie Peralta does have a high expected ERA from his current, but Milwaukee is 7-1 in their last 8, 9-2 straight up in his last 11 home starts. So he pitches a lot better at home than on the road. Then you got Peralta's only given up 2 runs total in first 5s in his last 6 home starts. That's what I mean about seeing a home pitcher in Freddie Peralta. And Peralta has given up just 1 run in 3 starts versus teams at home inside the division. So inside the division, he holds opponents low, and overall in his last 6 home games, he's held them to just 2 runs total. And then in Imanaga, same thing. He's done very well in this type of situation, especially versus divisional opponents. And I think we're going to be saying the same thing. If you actually look at Imanaga's last 3 starts for its division, hasn't given up a run in those 5 innings splits. So I think we're going to be looking at a low scoring affair here, at least in the first half of the game. So give me Chicago, Milwaukee under first 5 as the play.
Yeah, as I would agree. As I was saying, Imanaga is definitely a bounce back pitcher. He is 2-0 straight up this year, following a start where he had 5 earned runs or more. Previous start, really pedestrian. I mean, pedestrian is probably being very kind. Actually, only 3 innings pitched, 12 hits, 7 earned runs against the White Sox. Just really coming out of the All-Star break, lacking focus. He has been great on the road sustainably throughout the entire campaign. 43 and 2/3 innings pitched road, only 37 hits, only 13 earned runs. So this is definitely a buy low in all capacity for the Cubs. The game line is getting steamed towards the Brewers. This opened right around a pick 'em. Both teams right around -110. This is -125 now. Not entirely sure why that's coming in that direction. The actual game itself is going to be a pick 'em, but I do think that Gunz is probably on the right side here. Take the first 5 under and let's cash. Next game on the card, 210 in Chicago. The other side of the Chicago ticket here, White Sox hosting the Phillies. Another getaway game here. Adrian Hauser hosting Taijuan Walker. This is a really contrarian special. You got the Philadelphia Phillies sitting here 61 and 46. The White Sox are 30 games under 500, 39 and 69. But Adrian Hauser is 5-0 straight up at Rate Field in the south side of Chicago. Gunz, I would have to look towards the White Sox, and I believe you align here.
Well, knock on wood, because we are getting towards the trade deadline, and Adrian Hauser is one of those guys that people are talking about right now. I hope he does get through this pitching, and then maybe they get rid of him on the 31st. But when we talk about this matchup that we're seeing currently as we're recording this show, Walker, low K rate, but he's got a low barrel rate. He's 2-4 straight up in his last 6 starts. So really, the Phillies have not performed well when he's been on the bump. And it's only the second time this season that Walker has been a road favorite. Walker has only faced one AL team as well this year, and it was a road win as a +147 dog versus the Yankees. But he's going against Adrian Hauser. Adrian Hauser, his numbers are great. He has a low barrel rate. He's 6-0 straight up in his last 6 starts, 3-1 in Hauser's starts as a dog, a +125 or less, which you have in this situation. And then you have Chicago White Sox are 4-1 straight up in Hauser's starts versus NL teams. So every situation, especially with Adrian Hauser, has experience with all these NL teams. So it does make sense coming over from the Brewers. I think this is going to be one of those situations. We're going to be looking at Hauser once again. Just take the hot hand. You got a low dog number here against a good, if not great, Phillies team. And then you saw life last night, bottom of the 9th. They didn't score a run, and then all of a sudden they put up 3. So maybe that carries over into this game as a matinee slate. Chicago White Sox is the only way I'd play this one. You could take them on a run and a half, but I think they're going to win this game outright. Give me Chicago White Sox money line as the play.
Yeah, no, I think the really key point there, obviously Hauser did pitch in the National League, and he does know these lineups, and he just feels comfortable when he sees a National League opponent across from him. But just speaking on home environments against National League opponents, 2-0, did beat Robbie Ray Saturday afternoon, June the 28th, 1-0. He was great in the game, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 0 earned runs, and he did beat the Cubs recently on June 25th, 12-5. Also just very impressive stuff here. Taijuan Walker at this point in his career is not only, I would say, pedestrian, but the team clearly doesn't trust him very much. They moved him in and out of the bullpen already once this year. He's also very heady. He's the type of pitcher, middle of the afternoon. It's going to be hot in Chicago. This is not a rivalry game by any stretch. It's a funky time and definitely a funky stadium for him to find his sight line and his focus. I think the White Sox could absolutely win this game. Take the White Sox and let's cash. Next game on the card, more interleague baseball. Nationals at Astros. Daikin Park, Houston, Texas. Ryan Gusto hosting Mackenzie Gore. We talked about this last week with Mackenzie Gore. He's basically like Paul Skeens. Skeens is better, but Gore is an ace. He's very young. He gets limited run support. When you're backing Gore, it's more so asking yourself, will the Nationals score? Against Gusto, I could see it. Gunz, any thoughts?
Yeah, you said it. You look at Gore's numbers. Another pitcher that everybody's talking about on the trade block, by the way. This is another guy that could be moving teams as soon as tomorrow. The 30, either Wednesday or Thursday. We'll see what happens with that one. High K rate, low walk rate. But Washington's 2-6 in his last 8 starts. But you look at his last 6 starts, he's 5-1 to the run line. So he's keeping the games close. Just Washington can't put the biscuit in the basket, as they say, to get the W. Washington is also 3-1 straight up and 4-0 to the run line in Gore's last 4 starts versus AL teams. So they're going against an AL team here. Then Ryan Gusto, high barrel rate, lower expected ERA. So he could get smacked here, maybe for a home run or two with this Washington squad. The run line is is where I'm kind of focusing the cap on this one, because Houston is 2-7 to the run line in Gusto's last 9 starts, and 1-4 straight up and to the run line in his last 5 home starts overall. So even in this short window at home, Houston is just underperformed for him. Also, Houston is 2-5 to the run line versus the NL East teams, and 7-0 to the under in those situations as well. I wouldn't be messing with a total on this one, because Washington's more of an over team, 6-1 to the over when they're facing the AL West. So it kind of washes one another out. However, I think Mackenzie Gore is probably the better pitcher in the situation. And if I'm going pitcher for pitcher, I'm going to buy some insurance just in case, because I know Washington could screw up the dub. So give me Washington on the run line as the play.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. Mackenzie Gore did face Houston last year. It was April 2024 at home in Washington. He did take a loss, 5-3. Didn't pitch particularly well. 7 hits in only 4 innings, only 3 earned runs, however, which is also kind of the story with this guy. If he's not on with his best stuff, he does get out of jams with the best of them. He did actually have a road win at an American League opponent earlier this year at Baltimore, where he gave up 10 hits and somehow managed to keep the runs really low. So I think he could definitely keep it together and scrap this one. Obviously, this could be his last start for Washington pre-deadline. Definitely lean the direction of Nationals plus 1.5 with the gun, and we will keep it moving. Final game on the card here for us, of course, Bernsey, coach and prop master. Shout out to the prop master, his 3rd child. Congratulations. The best of energy. The best of energy is maybe not with us on this game. Pirates, Giants, final game we're discussing. Logan Webb against Mike Burrows. Logan Webb has looked absolutely terrible the entire month of July. 4 starts and the All-Star break. Very below average in all 4. His most recent starts, 6 earned runs, 4 earned runs, and another 6 against the Mets on Friday night at home. This is, for me, one of 2 things, or maybe both. It's some sort of arm fatigue, or the league is learning how this guy sequences his pitches. It's got to be something. I don't know what it is. I do not like laying minus 250 given the circumstances of Webb. Gunz, have you gotten anywhere on this one?
Yeah, I mean, it could be something that they found in his pitches, and that scouting report got passed around to everybody in their division and everybody in the National League. So who knows? But I think you're right. I think this Logan Webb right now is unbackable in a lot of these key betting situations. And for some reason, the books are overvaluing him in the market, maybe on the fact that the public has just been, betting Logan Webb way too much, and they can just get the value. But when you look at Burrows, while Burrows is 1-6 straight up in his last 7 and 1-3 straight up on the road, Pittsburgh is 3-1 to the run line in Burrows' last 4 road starts. So they're keeping games close. They're just not getting the W's. Also, Pittsburgh is 3-1 to the run line in Burrows' starts as a dog of plus 150 or more, which you going to have in this situation. Just overvalued Logan Webb. Logan Webb, San Francisco is 5-7 in Webb's last 12 starts. That's what Shark was alluding to. But they're 0-7 to the run line in his last 7 home starts. So every game is a nail biter when you're dealing with Logan Webb. Also, San Francisco is 0-4 to the run line in Webb's last 4 home starts as a favorite of minus 170 or more. So all the stats are going against each other. And plus, you got the fact that this Pittsburgh team has covered the run line 8 straight times. Just continue the trend. It's one of those things that this Pittsburgh team just never goes away. It continues to fight. It may not get the wins, but if you're taking them on the run line and you're getting some good value on it, by God, just keep taking it. So I think this is one of the better plays of the matinee slate. Give me Pittsburgh plus 1.5 as a play.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. As I said, this just seems to be terribly inflated. And, when you start to see an entire month go awry for a guy, we've talked about this with some other pitchers, Ben Brown, Hunter Brown, other guys who just looked terrible. This is just the state of pitching in a professional league at the highest quality in the world. when these guys go bad, oftentimes it is more of a systemic thing. They don't just flip the switch and bounce back. This is not football where you get your ass kicked one week, you regroup, and you come back and look like a totally opposite team. No, this is baseball. There's a lot more complexity. I think he could struggle here. Just one final point on Burrows. 4 road starts this year, extremely polarized in the final result. Basically, he either gets rocked and it's an over and Pittsburgh's nowhere near a win, or it's a tight, low-scoring one-run game. 2 blowout losses, 9-6 at Arizona, 12-4 at Minnesota. But here's the thing. 2 tight losses, 2-1 at the Cubs and 1-0 at Seattle. I think Gunz is onto something here. I think it probably is tight, plus 1.5. Definitely the top look in this game. That is 8 games in 25.5 minutes, and we got best bets. Wednesdays are for winning the morning show. The Shark and the Gun. Gunz, best bets.
It's Pittsburgh, plus run and a half. I'm just going to continue to fade Logan Webb. I may not take him to lose the game, but I'll take him at plus 1.5. If you can get minus 121, minus 122, it's just good value on that one. And also, you got to back Adrian Hauser. Adrian Hauser, the hot pitcher for the Chicago White Sox, barring the fact that if they better not trade him before he starts tomorrow in the matinee. But I think the Chicago White Sox squad is a good pick there, though. Give me Chicago White Sox money line as my 2 best bets for the show.
Yeah, I'll give you guys 2 as well. We opened the show with it. We will close you with it here. Over Orioles Jays. It's at 10 now. It opened at 9.5. That's also really intelligent market steam there. As I mentioned, Jose Barrios staying on the road off a previous good road start. Extreme polarization. Start 1 versus start 2. You're going to see a lot of runs here early and often. And jumping on it with the gun, I'll take plus 1.5. You get a good price. Chicago White Sox plus 1.5 is minus 130 to 132 in most markets. I think that price split is actually very fair. Great look there. Adrian Hauser obviously performing great at home. If it is his last start, let's go out with a bang, Adrian. And that is 27 minutes. We appreciate you guys in the chat. The second show will be live at 3 o'clock. Gunz Picks, give us some words, and I'll close it out.
Yeah, just go check us out on Telegram, Why Lose Gunz, Why Lose Shark, and you can check us on all social media platforms, especially GUNZPICKS on X and TikTok, and Why Lose Gunz on Instagram. The Shark, you can find him on Sharkson Sports 88 on X, and Why Lose Shark on Instagram. Appreciate all you guys joining. Make sure you hit the like on this video. If you're watching this now, you're watching this later, we give this information for the low price of $0.00. All we do is tell you to move that cursor over, hit that thumbs up, and like the video. That's it, Shark. Get him.
That is it. We're going to dominate this card. We'll be back over the weekend. I will be hosting the weekday show on Friday. Looking forward to that. We appreciate you guys in the chat. Have a great morning and afternoon. Let's cash these tickets for J.A. Cavalier cashing tickets around the world. The prop master welcoming his 3rd child in the world. As I said, congratulations, Luke. And, of course, Coach Rick. He is the gun. I'm the Shark. Stay fast, stay strong, stay disciplined, and let's dominate.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my